Alright, so we're gonna start off with some palettes that are kind of on the side, that are newer to my collection, that I haven't mentioned in videos. Starting off with the City Color Whatever Forever palette. This is actually new to my collection, so I haven't used it, I think, other than like one time for work. It pretty much is a rainbow palette, really stunning. For work, I actually went in with like the more purpley tones over here, and this shade here is stunning on the lid. So there's a look at that palette. It's so beautiful, and if I could go back, I would repurchase this palette in a heartbeat. It actually is a really nice formula, and I can't wait to use it on camera with you guys. Next, I have two LA Colors palettes. Both of these palettes are actually in my Shop My Stash for the month of June. So the first one here, I believe, is in Pinky Nude, which looks like so. And then we have a Softly Nude, which I think out of the two, this is my favorite. And these are from the Dollar Tree or the 99-cent store. And they're really cute, really compact, and they actually do pack a punch. So if you're in the market for a dollar eyeshadow palette, these are actually a really nice quality. Some more LA Colors eyeshadow palettes. So these are little baby palettes from the Family Dollar. I have this pinky version here. As you can see, I haven't used them. I haven't removed that little like paper thing on the back. So this one here is in Hello Beautiful. It looks like that. And this one here is in Hello Gorgeous, which is such a beautiful color story. As you can see, I think I've attempted to use this before, but I don't think I've actually like reached for this on camera with you guys. This is actually a palette that my boyfriend purchased for me. I haven't used it on camera either. There's a lot of makeup that's kind of going under the radar in my collection, which is why I kind of have to go back and I really like this video because I'm really going to rediscover old palettes that I haven't used, or new ones that have just like gone under the radar, like this one here I kind of forget about. The collaboration with iHeart Revolution that was available at Target. I believe they still have some palettes available there. There's a look at the color story, really pretty, but again, I haven't used this, so I don't really know the quality, but based on other Revolution palettes I've tried, I actually really like them. Like the Batman palette that you guys are going to see later on, but this is actually a really nice color story. So there it is, but I haven't gotten a chance to use it. Same thing goes for this She Glam palette. This is called their Cosmic Crystal Eyeshadow Quad in Spellbound. And this was part of a huge like pinky kind of haul from She Glam. If you didn't catch that video, it's going to be linked down below. But this is a palette there. I actually may have used this. I don't remember. Maybe it was that palette there, but I did purchase this along with that haul, and it's actually a really cute quad, and I really like the colors in here. Another palette I haven't gotten to use on camera with you guys is the Mercury Retrograde palette by Huda Beauty. This is actually on sale on the, I believe it's the Ulta website for like $30, girls. So if you've been eyeing this palette and you've been wanting it, it's on sale. I'm sure you guys know what this palette looks like, but there's a look at that. I've been using it behind the scenes. I believe I use this palette in a like Instagram reel and stuff, but these shimmers are insane. Such a beautiful palette. I do not regret a thing. Same goes with the Sleeping Beauty palette from iHeart Revolution, and this is actually from TJ Maxx or Marshalls, and it's really cute. You open it and you get some face powders in here, like blushes, some highlights, and some eyeshadow shades as well. I also do have another palette, which I'll probably just show you guys after this, that is like the Mermaid. It's a Little Mermaid edition, so I do have both of these palettes, as you can see, and they're part of like their storybook collection. So I might as well show you guys the Little Mermaid one. So there's a look at that. It basically looks like a storybook, again from iHeart Revolution. Also comes with some blushes, some highlights, some eyeshadow shades in here as well. I haven't gotten to use either of these palettes, which is unfortunate, but soon we'll do a little like princess collection video, whatever. But this is so adorable. I have a couple of City Color palettes because I am planning to do a video talking about is City Color worth it. So we have the Whimsical Forest palette, which was giving me vibes of Pat McGrath, because it did have that little thing that you use. It's like a little string to close it. Look at this packaging, so cute. Unfortunately, this palette is no longer available, and I just scratched mine. But there's a look at the color story in here, so beautiful. And also another favorite of mine from their line is the Sandia palette. So beautiful. I love the packaging. They also have a Piña palette, which I'm so tempted to pick up. But there's the color story of this palette. How beautiful. I love it. I've actually done videos with this palette here. I think I did a whole like full face of City Color Cosmetics. But again, I am going to be reviewing their products soon in a video, which is why I'm mentioning them now. Well, as their little monochromatic palettes, these are part of their Paradise Love collection. from City Color. The first one here is the one in Pink Vibes. And I've actually done looks with all of these little palettes on my Instagram, so go over there and check them out. But here is the Pinky Vibe. And then we have Purple Vibe. So beautiful, and they all come like with a glitter as well. And we have Orange Vibe, so stunning. And then we have Green Vibes. I honestly don't even know where to begin. I have 6 of these crates here. I'm just gonna go ahead and start with my Metamorphosis and Hot Topic palettes. Now these are not, like the labeling is not too accurate in this bin specifically, but we're just gonna go ahead and get started. I did try to keep all my like Metamorphosis palettes together, but basically I'm gonna be just tossing everything on my bed and then we're gonna reorganize at the end. So the first palette here from Metamorphosis is the Lady Nay palette. This is so cute. Look at this packaging. They put so much effort into their packaging. It's insane. Again, for Metamorphosis Cosmetics, and it's a very thin kind of packaging. I love keeping them all together, and this is just so stunning. Unfortunately, I don't think I've used this on camera with you guys, but you do get a row of greens, some reds, and some yellows in here. And then we have like a bunch of their like little square palettes. So the first one here, I think this is my first ever palette from them. This is their Oink palette, and it is more of a pinky kind of color story, as you can tell. So beautiful. I do have a video with this palette as well. I think this is my second palette. This is the Bob Bob palette from Metamorphosis. Super cute packaging. Again, they put so much effort into that, and this I have to say is like my least favorite formula from them, but it does come with 2 glitters in here, and we do get a bunch of purple tones. And then we have their Madame Growl palette, which is again adorable packaging, and this one does come with more blue tones. We do get a variety of pink tones in here. You could also create a very like wearable look with this palette. We have one of their smaller palettes. This one unfortunately I don't think I've used on camera either. This is a Linda Dazzle palette, and it is one of their like smaller palettes, and the mirror did come broken, but there's a look at that color story. So you get a row of shimmers and a row of corresponding matte shades. I think this is the last palette from Metamorphosis, but this is their Moo palette, which is one of their like most colorful palettes on their website. It's just like a basic rainbow matte palette. So now we're dipping into like Hot Topic palette. So this is a Winnie the Pooh eyeshadow palette, and this is from their like Christmas collection. And this one does come with more like muted kind of neutral tones. Really beautiful. So we did skip one Metamorphosis palette. This is the Lily Croaks eyeshadow palette. How can I forget this one? This is one of my favorite palettes from their line. This is again the Lily Croaks, and it comes with a bunch of greeny tones that I love. Even like my thumbnail on YouTube and Instagram are both with this palette on my eyes, because I created the most beautiful green look using this palette. I love it. But you could also create very wearable looks, very neutral looks, very cool tone looks with this palette. It's so versatile. I love it. So next we have the Blockbuster palette. So this one did go, I hate saying the word viral, but I guess like it was very popular here on YouTube. A lot of people were talking about it. However, not a lot of people were using it. So here's a look at the eyeshadow palette. Basically, it's a bunch of matte tones in here. I think I did a video using this palette. I also did a reel on Instagram. And I have to say, it's not the best palette out there. I don't even know if it's still available, but you can't really come up with a cohesive look with this palette. And honestly, the formula of it wasn't that great. But like for nostalgia's sake, I think it's really cute to have. This is actually a palette that my boyfriend purchased for me. I believe it was for, I don't know if it was like a birthday gift or something, or maybe for Christmas. But this is the Alice in Wonderland eyeshadow palette. How stunning is this cover? And then you open it up and you get some highlight tones on the bottom, and you get some really colorful shades, as you can tell. That first shade, the Golden Afternoon tone, is so beautiful. Unfortunately, I don't think I've reached for this palette yet, but I have swatched it and it's so nice. I definitely can't wait to create a look with this. So I have 2 Little Mermaid palettes. I believe these are either one of them is like from Hot Topic and one of them is from Box Lunch, but they seem to carry very similar palette styles. So the first one here is a Little Mermaid eyeshadow palette, and it looks like so beautiful. And I believe this one was a gift as well, but look at that. Look at the shade Unfortunate Souls. Looks so cool. So there's a look at that. And then we have this eyeshadow palette, which again is a Little Mermaid eyeshadow palette, which comes with more colorful tones compared to that other one. And I think this one comes with less colors in here as well, but look at the color story, so stunning. Next we have the Lilo and Stitch palette. I actually did do a video using this palette. How cute is this cover? And then the color story in here was really nice. I remember being really impressed by this palette. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for this one. So cute to gift, or if you want it for yourself. So adorable. This one I don't think I've ever used on camera with you guys. We'll definitely have to do an updated Cheetos, like hot Cheeto video. But this is a Hot Cheetos Flaming Hot eyeshadow palette from Hot Topic, and it looks like that. Basically looks like a bag of Cheetos, but this is from Taste Beauty. And there's a look at the color story, mostly matte tones, and then the shimmers in here do look like they're like pretty, I don't know, like not really too shimmery, so they basically look like mattes on the eye. So I'm not really too excited about this right now, but we'll definitely have to use it soon. Next we have the Cup Noodles eyeshadow palette, again from the Hot Topic and also from Taste Beauty. And there's a look at the color story. Again, if I have a corresponding video, I'll have it on the screen down below. But yeah, nothing too exciting. Again, the shimmers are very lackluster. They kind of come off as a matte tone or a very subtle satin shade on the eye. So yeah, nothing to write home about, but it's really cute for nostalgic, I guess, like collector's mindset. Is cute, but you know, like, do you need it? No. And then we have one of my favorites, which is the Wonderful Nightmare palette. Too bad this one's no longer available, because it's actually a really good formula from Hot Topic. And there's a look at the color story in here. I've actually used this so many times on my channel. I've used that dark brown shade for as a bronzer moment. I've used that middle shade as a highlight moment. And it's just such a versatile palette. I love it, and also the formula is just so good. So this is definitely one that I hope they bring back one day. But yeah, so cute. And you also do get that pop of Christmas shades on the side as well. We have their other Nightmare Before Christmas palette, and this one's actually really nice. This is called the Master of Fright palette. And here's a look at the color story. Now the formula in this palette isn't as great as the last one that I talked about, but it's a very unique palette. It's really cute to gift if you're like into Nightmare Before Christmas and you like to collect things from the movie or whatever. I think this is okay. Now it's nothing to write home about formula wise, but I think it's cute. I went ahead and threw in some like bigger palettes that didn't fit. So this is the Romantic Beauty Dessert Cake palette, and this is not from Hot Topic, but again, this is such a beautiful rainbow palette. This is definitely one of my favorite formulas from Romantic Beauty. This palette here specifically comes with so many different types of formulas. They have some like very extra shimmers in here that are like almost putty like. They have a glitter tone in here. Their matte tones are really nice and buildable and super colorful. So this is definitely one of the palettes that I recommend from Romantic Beauty. It's actually a really nice formula. Next we have this palette, which is a burger palette from, is it iHeart Revolution? Yes, and this is called their Tasty Burger, their grilled cheesy burger, and it looks like so. And I think we got this at TJ Maxx or something. And there's a look at the color story, and they also do have like a veggie version which comes with more green tones. It also does come with a mirror. Next we have this Angelica palette from Taste Beauty. This actually went kind of viral as well, I guess, on YouTube, and not a lot of people actually purchased it. It does come with a mirror. My sister actually bought this for me, which was really sweet of her, and it comes with very like everyday, very toned down colors. Next we have my two Jeffree Star palettes. We have the Conspiracy palette, which my boyfriend actually purchased for me, so I don't think I would ever really like get rid of this palette. I don't really reach for it because of how big and bulky it is, but look at this color story. So nice. Actually, I haven't touched it in such a long time. I have to bring it out and try out a look with this palette, but yeah, I really like the colors in here, especially this teal one here. So we have this one, and we have the traditional Blood Sugar, which my sister actually passed on to me. And again, there's a look at that. I'm pretty sure you guys know what it looks like, but pretty much a bunch of red pinky tones, and you could do like everyday tones on the top. All right, so one bin is empty. Get into a different one. So this is the Lilo and Stitch palette, also from Hot Topic. But I don't think, these are not really organized as well as I would like, so I'm gonna have to reorganize them. Everything's like on my bed right now. So this is again the Lilo and Stitch palette, or the Stitch palette. It looks like he's getting kind of happy with this other, I don't know, alien or whatever. So this is super cute. I definitely had to have it for the packaging. And this one does come with more like purpley tones. Unfortunately, I keep stabbing my palettes, but this one comes with more purpley tones in here. I don't think I've used this palette yet. Next we have some You Can Be palettes, and these are actually a really great formula. First off, we have the Grape Shot palette, which is actually such a beautiful purple moment, and it does come with that weird tone in there. I did a video using this palette, and it's such a good formula. You Can Be is definitely underrated, so definitely check them out. But they come out with a lot of like monochromatic palettes. They just came out with like a pastel a whole like pastel matte palette, which is so beautiful. So this is the Grape Shop palette. And then we have the My Honey palette, which if you're into neutral tones, I think you're really gonna enjoy this palette. Look at these shades, so stunning. So next we have all of my LA Colors palettes. So these are like a newer kind of launch from them. First off, we have this purpley one, which is Spilling the Tea Berry Blend palette. So cute. It comes with, again, more purpley tones. As you can see, I like kind of repeat color stories here, but it's not like your traditional purple palette. It does come with everyday tones in here. You get some cool tones in here. It's a nicely curated palette. Unfortunately, I don't think I've reached for this one. This is called Let's Talk the Tea Chai Latte palette, which I don't know where I got chaya from, okay girl, but this is very cool toned and more like gray. You see like more smoky tones and very much, I don't know, very neutral tones. Perfect for like every day. And you also have those pops of oranges in here as well. So this is very nice. Also very nicely curated palette. I feel like it's very unique to my collection. And lastly, we have the green one, which is their Matcha Mix palette, which comes with more green tones in here, which I think is my favorite as well. It's just so beautiful. Again, very unique. It's not like a whole like monochromatic palette, but you do get some green tones in here. You get some everyday tones. You get a pop of blue, a pop of like that neon green tone right here. So it's like a really nice palette. Right, next we have the Revolution Lion King palette. I believe I only have one of these. So this is the Simba palette, I guess. And again, this is from Revolution. This is called I Walk on the Wild Side palette. Super cute. I think I did a video. No, I think I did an Instagram reel using this palette. How beautiful are these tones? There was a time where I was so obsessed with pinky eyeshadow looks. So this is definitely my vibe. I'm gonna show you guys another palette that I was obsessed with for the month of February and March. But this color story is really nice, and also the formula is so beautiful as well. So you happen to see this and you love pinky tones, definitely pick this up, or the one that I'm gonna talk about next. You guys may remember I was obsessed with the Yvette and Beauty Creations palette. This is the Eyes on Me palette, not only because the packaging is stunning, but this color story is beautiful. So again, this one comes with more pinky tones, as the other one did as well that I just talked about. It comes with orangey tones in here. I have to say the orangey tones are what kind of called out to me when I saw this palette online, but it's such a beautifully curated palette. I think she did such a great job, and the pinky tones in here are so stunning, and it's just perfect. I love this palette and I'm still not over it. I definitely have to reach for this again. I was obsessed with it again for the month of February and March, but so beautiful. And I'm just going to give you guys a side-by-side of both palettes. They're kind of similar, not too similar, but you know, whichever calls out to you, pick it up. They're both amazing. And next we have some LA Colors palettes. They actually sent these to me a long time ago. I don't know if you guys remember when these came out, but they're 18 color eyeshadow palette. First one here is the Nude Heat palette, and these are like really nice quality. They're kind of heavy. They are like plastic palettes, but look at this color story, so beautiful. However, the formula in here wasn't anything to write home about. I think I used these a long time ago on my channel, but yeah. So if you're into these, I don't know if they're still available, but they did have these 18 color eyeshadow palettes, which I still have. And then we have the Nude Rush palette, which actually comes with more cooler tone shades in here, more purples, as you can tell. So this one's also really stunning. Another Hot Topic palette that was misplaced. This is the Up eyeshadow palette. Again, I needed it for this packaging. That's like usually what gets me from Hot Topic palettes. And then we have the colors on the inside. I really loved the like green tones on the bottom row, but also that like bright lime shade that's called Talking Dog. So cute. So we're just gonna kind of go through these real quick. These are all my Ebin New York palettes. I've done so many videos with these palettes here, so many reels on Instagram. I love Ebin New York. You guys know they are one of my favorite brands. We have the Eternal Paradise palette. We have Cleopatra's Love, which is my favorite. We have Coral Oasis. We have Goddess Treasure. Another favorite is Golden Empire, which actually I have to reach for. This is so stunning. So all of these palettes are still available on their website, and if you have a local Dollar General, they also have those there. But these are amazing, and I always rave about the quality. They have such a great formula. I also have actually 2 other palettes from them, so let me grab them. We have 2 more Ebin palettes. So these are their mini palettes that actually just came out with not too long ago. This is their Nature's Embrace palette, and these are smaller kind of moments, and these are also such a good quality palette. So if you want to gift them or get one for yourself, girl, these are amazing. And then we also have the Everlasting Splendor palette, which again is like more everyday tones in here. I'm not the biggest fan of that shade here in the middle, Mosaic, but everything else in here is stunning. Next we have a palette that's from TJ Maxx, and this is actually a newer find to me. This is a Hipped Up Rugrats palette. Super cute. We also did get the sponge that came with this collection. It does come with a couple of glitter tones in here. I have to say the formula is actually really nice in here. I've done a reel using this palette and I really like how the look comes out, but you could also do a very everyday kind of eyeshadow look as well with this palette. I really like the setup of this palette. And yeah, so I really wasn't expecting to like this palette as much as I do, but it's actually really cute. So you guys are going to see She Glam palettes kind of sprinkled around in this video. They're not all together right now, but this is a Wretched Romance palette from She Glam, and this is part of their Halloween collection. And I did do a whole video talking about all the collection that came with this palette and their liners and stuff. So there's a look at that. I don't know if this is still available, but it's actually a really nice quality palette. Next we have the C Color Tropical 15 color eyeshadow palette. It was $1.99 at the 99-cent store, and this was also a really nice palette. However, the formula is not, you know, all there, but it's actually really cute, and I was super surprised to find this at my local 99-cent store. This one's actually older in my collection. I don't know if I'm going to declutter anything today, but this is so old. So this is also a C Color palette, and this is called their Around the World palette. It was a dupe for one of the Urban Decay palettes that came out a couple years ago. The color story is just like, it's not all there for me, honestly. It's just like kind of hard to come up with a look using this palette. I always forget about it, honestly, so I'm kind of like, eh. Another palette from C Color. This is the Angel palette, also from the 99-cent store. I did a whole like drugstore week when I started my channel here on YouTube. It's crazy how many years it's been. Feels like just yesterday, but I use this palette and I honestly raved about it for a long time. Now I kind of forgot about it now, but I was really surprised by the formula in this palette and that it was available at the 99-cent store. So yeah, it's a really fun color story. It's definitely one that brought me out of my comfort zone. So I still have it. Definitely not one that I would get rid of anytime soon. Next we have a newer palette to me, which is the Yummy in My Tummy by Cara Beauty palette, which actually came with some stickers, which is really cute. And I think we got this at Marshall's or TJ Maxx, and look at the color story. It's so beautiful. So now we're gonna get into a lot of like LA Colors palettes. So this is the LA Colors I Love Makeup Nude palette. So this one I've had for, again, so many years. I honestly forgot about it, but it's giving me vibes of the other LA Colors palette that we talked about, the like chai latte or whatever. Yeah, but super cute color story. Definitely not one that I would get rid of anytime soon. It's one that I would grab for like a specific type of look, but I don't know, I kind of been forgetting about this palette these years now. Honestly, I haven't reached for it in a long time, so it's definitely one that we'll have to bring out soon. Kind of gonna rush through these because I did a whole video talking about all these new LA Colors palettes, so I'm kind of gonna show them to you real fast because, you know, we've just talked about them in extent. I think the formula in here is, and these palettes are actually like okay, not the best in the world, but they're cute. So this first one here is this Sunset palette. Again, I did a whole video using these palettes. I actually swatched all of them as well in that video. So there's the Sunset palettes. I think these are still available on their website. Next we have the Cool palette, which again comes with more cool tones in here, mostly shimmers. We have the Rose palette, which looks like that. This is the Nude palette. It's so cute. Again, comes with more nude tones. I think they did a good job with the names. I actually describe them as they are. So this is their Bright palette. As you can see, it comes with more bright tones. I'm so glad we're doing this video because I completely forgot about these palettes. I actually found these at the 99-cent store not too long ago, and they also still have the sticker on them. So this is the Nude palette, and I should have compared it to that last one that I just showed you guys, but there is the Nude palette. And then we have their Bold palette, which again, I never used in a video, and it already has broken, as you can tell, so I have to start reaching for these. We're gonna get these out of the way. These are from Dollar Tree, and these are the LA Colors duo. This is the duo in Bestie. I actually just talked about them in a massive Dollar Tree haul, and I also did use them in a video as well. So this is the one in Bestie, so beautiful. I have this one, which is more everyday, and this one's in Mirror Soul. These I'm gonna glaze through because I've already gone through these so many times in my channel or on my channel. So the first one here is the Smoky palette from LA Colors, and I've showed these so many times on my channel before. I don't know if these are still available, but there is the color story of the Smoky palette. Next we have the Stunning palette, which comes with more everyday tones in here. We have the Flashy palette, which comes with more smoky tones, kind of similar to the first one that I showed you guys. And we have the Classy palette, which I've actually compared all of these little palettes to each other because they came out like 3 different collections of these, so I'll have that video down below. But these are more like everyday tones. And then we have the Stellar palette, which comes with more, oh gosh, now it closed. I feel like more smoky tones, but I feel like this one's more fun compared to the last one that I talked about, the flashy palette. All right, we could talk about more LA Colors palettes. I have so many. I completely forgot about these little palettes here. So they came out with the collection of these 9-pan palettes. So this is called their Lemon Drop palette. I'm telling you, like, a lot of these palettes I'm forgetting about because I haven't done a video like this in a long time. But this is, again, the Lemon Drop palette. This one is called their Berry Kiss palette. So beautiful. And this is called their Blueberry Blast palette. I have a couple of Hip Dot palette. These are their Recess Press Pigment palettes. I did a whole video on these palettes as well. We have the like white chocolate palette, which comes with a glitter. And then we have this one here, which also comes with a glitter, but these tones are more, I guess, deep. I don't know if these palettes are available any longer. I really like the quality of these palettes. They're actually really cute. They were really fun to work with. Next we have my Hot Cheetos, or like Flaming Hot Cheetos times Royally Rose palette that I've had for so many years now, which looks like that. I'm sure you guys already seen this a million times. Guys, I don't even know if Santee is still around, but I have two Santee palettes. They actually have some of these palettes available on Miss-tery. So we have the Cherry Factory Collection palette, which looks like that. The quality of these palettes are okay, but I don't know why they went out of business. That sucks, but there was a time where they used to send me PR and it was really fun and I really liked playing with these palettes. However, I don't know if they're still around. We have the Strawberry Shake palette, which looks like that. Super cute, also super colorful and pigmented. Next we have Second Look Cosmetics, which they also came out with these like electric vibe collection. So first off, we have the one in, this is the Hot Pink palette, which I think these are still available. We have the Hot Coral palette and the Hot Purple palette. We also have this one that I purchased for my birthday last year, and I actually did a birthday video using this one. This is the NK Makeup Birthday Cake palette, and I did purchase this from my local Q Bargain, and it comes with so many like rainbow kind of moments. It's so cute. Little palette situation in here is this from She Glam, and this was actually a gift with purchase, and this is called their like Smart Cookie trio or whatever. So it comes with a cream tone, it comes with a more like medium tone, and then a like chocolate tone on the bottom. And just like that, another crate is empty. So let's just get into this one here right in front of us. So this is the She Glam Eye Candy palette, which looks like so. I actually just did a video using this palette. It comes with more pinky tones in here, really beautiful. Next we have this one. This one's actually pretty old, but this is the H&M palette, and this is called To the Moon and Back. This one I don't think I'll ever get rid of. I actually like how the looks come out with this palette. You do get a highlight tone and a blush tone in here, and I really like the quality of this palette, so I really love it. And it's also very thin as well and really easy to store. So yeah, not one that I would ever get rid of, but it's actually really cute. I have one that W7 sent to me. So this is a Nudification palette, and it is a dupe, I believe, for a Too Faced palette, and look at those shades, so stunning. We have a palette from Profusion, and this is called their Mini Rubies palette. I actually purchased this a couple Christmases ago from Big Lots. It feels like such a long time ago, but look at the color story. It's so beautiful. So this is from Revolution, and this is part of their Batman collection. It's called their Dangerous Love palette. I did a whole video using this along with their face palette and their lip products. I believe it came out for Valentine's Day this year, and it's so stunning. I love the look that I created with this palette here, so definitely give that video a watch. And I love what they did with the packaging. Now that we're here, let's talk about ABH. So I have 3 palettes from them. The first one here is the Alyssa Edwards palette. I'm sure you guys know what it looks like, but it looks like that, super colorful. We have the Subculture palette, which honestly I never reach for, but it's good to have to like collect, I guess. And then we have the Riviera palette, which I actually purchased in New York when we went a couple years ago. Super beautiful. Next, we have the BH Sweet Shop Pistachio palette that we got at my local TJ Maxx or Marshalls. Super beautiful color story. A lot of people raved about this formula. Honestly, I don't remember. I don't know if I used this for St. Patrick's Day, but this definitely could have been a contender. I love green eyeshadow on my skin tone, so I love this palette. I'll definitely have to reach for it for a video soon. We have the Revolution Jack palette, which, oh my god, I forgot about this palette. I actually had this in a Shop My Stash such a long time ago. So beautiful. I remember really liking this palette and having a lot of fun with it throughout the month. So I'll definitely have to take this out again and like play with it. Next we have the Revolution Pro palette. This is definitely one of the palettes that I think I would declutter if this was a declutter, because I just never reach for it. I forget about it. This shade dried out, and it comes with a bunch of glitter tones in here. It's just kind of like whatever, I kind of forget about it. But yeah, it's actually really heavy as well and a little bulky, so I'm kind of like We have this palette, which I never really, I don't know, like my boyfriend purchased it for me, which is really cute, but I just keep it with my eyeshadow palette for Black Friday. And this is a NYX Sugar Trip Squad palette. I loved this palette so much. So yeah, and I waited in a long line to get this palette because it was on sale, and it's so cute. Not one that I would ever get rid of. Now we're gonna get into like my elf palettes. This is the Chipotle elf collection that came out a couple, when was it, like 2 years ago or whatever. The color story leaves something to be desired. I don't know, it's like not really a palette that I can make a cohesive look with and have it look different each time. All the looks pretty much come out the same with this palette, but it's cute to have, and I'm glad that I have it here. So just like to collect or whatever, but not one that I reach for often. We'll just get into their like little bite-sized palettes. I have 4 of them here. Here is in Truffles, which is really cute. I think this is like newer to me as well. I think this is the newest one to me. This is the one in Pumpkin Pie. This one here is in ACU, and this one here is in Hot Jalapeno. Actually a really good quality little like palettes, so if you've been eyeing them out, their bite-sized palettes are actually really cute, which is why I keep collecting them. But yeah, I'm so glad that I'm getting like a little collection out of these. Next we have the e.l.f. Retro Paradise palette. Who remembers when this palette came out? So beautiful, right? The color story is so nice. However, actually using it, the actual like formula isn't all there. But again, it's a cute palette to have. Nothing to write home about, but yeah, it's just kind of there. And then a same kind of format, a see-through packaging, was the Wet n Wild and SpongeBob collection palette. Actually, I had purchased this from Ulta Beauty and it came broken. But my boyfriend actually purchased it for me when we saw it in store. I believe this was like the last palette as well, but yeah, haven't really reached for it. We'll have to do a video soon with this palette again. I think I did a video using it for the first time as a first impressions moment, but I haven't touched it since then. Next palette is the Dominique Cosmetics Berries and Cream palette. So I did purchase this because it was on sale, and I have to say it's like an okay formula. Nothing to like, I wasn't like too impressed with it. I hear a lot of people raving about this formula, but I was kind of like, okay, like it's cute. But again, I haven't touched it in such a long time, so I'll have to bring this out and play with it again with you guys. This is a newer palette to me. This is the Be Bella Wild Behavior palette. I just did a recent video using this palette, so this is definitely a favorite at the moment. So cute. I love the look that I created with this palette. I definitely wanted it for those deep green tones on the bottom row. I love it. So yeah, definitely had to have this. This one's actually older than my collection. This is the 90s Baby Cosmetics The Sanderson Sisters palette. How adorable is this packaging? And I don't know if this brand is still around, honestly, but yeah, there's a look at this color story. I love it. I love the formula. Everything about this palette is stunning. Next we have this, which I actually got in a, I believe it's a mystery box or something from Romantic Beauty. This is a Supernova 32 color eyeshadow palette. I have not used this. I actually unboxed the mystery box on my Instagram, which is really fun, but I literally haven't touched this palette at all. Yeah, I literally don't know where the other palette went. But this one actually has another palette that I just got, but this is a Supreme Femme palette from Prism Makeup, and I'm a little scared because I don't see my other palette in here. But look at the color story. I was obsessed with this when it was in my Shop My Stash, especially like this side over here. I love this palette, and I got so many compliments when I used it each time because I love like the smoky kind of looks I can create with this. It's so beautiful. I love it. Definitely recommend Prism Makeup, and you can find them on Amazon. Found the sister palette. So this is the Supreme Seductress palette from Prism Makeup. Also another gorgeous palette. As you can see, it comes with more orangey tones. I think I had this for Shop My Stash, or I just kept reaching for it throughout the month or something, and I'm mostly for like the smoky side of this palette. Again, another palette that I would get compliments on because of how smoky I can make each look, and these shimmer shades are so beautiful, especially if you pack them on with your finger. Definitely recommend these from Amazon. And now that we got that out of the way, next we can move on and get into Carter Beauty. This is their Smooth Nude palette. They actually sent this to me 2 years ago or something. Not one that I reach for. I mean, it's an all matte palette, so I don't have a lot to do with this palette, so it's kind of just been there. This palette was actually, I think, a birthday gift or a Christmas gift for my sister, and this is a Sunkissed by Profusion palette. This is another palette that we'll have to use soon, but it does come with some pressed glitters in here and super colorful tones. So now we're gonna get into like my older palettes. So this is the Beauty Trend, the Bon Voyage palette. I remember I got this such a long time ago at my local Q Bargain. It was a dupe for one of the Balm palettes, which comes with eyeshadow tones in here, comes with face tones in here, as well as with some lip products. So this is definitely a palette that I've taken traveling with me because it's so convenient and it has everything I need. Yeah, but I kind of forget about it honestly on my like everyday or my day-to-day life, but it's like an amazing palette to travel with. Next we have the Color Story in Bloom palette. These are actually the palettes that you could get at Five Below. I haven't seen this palette specifically there anymore, but they do tend to repackage their palettes a lot. So if you see this Color Story, yeah, it's been around for a long time, and this was actually one of my favorite ones. They do tend to stain the lid, but it was actually really nice. I just haven't touched it in a long time. This one here is a Romantic Beauty Poppin' Paisley eyeshadow palette. So I did do a video for them. I don't know if they ever like actually put it on YouTube, but they were gonna do like a YouTube channel or whatever, and they had sent me this palette, and I think I did a look for them in that video using the makeup that they sent me. So this is one of the palettes that they sent my way. Super cute. It comes with a glitter shade in here, two glitter shades, and then we get a bunch of like neutral kind of everyday tone. This is actually a palette I used recently in a video. This is the Bratz Revolution palette, and this is the Jasmine palette. And I was really impressed by the quality of this palette, and I really love the look that I created as well. So I really like this palette. I haven't gotten to use the actual like highlights in here, but the actual eyeshadows in here were really nice. I literally forgot about this palette. This is the Naked Heat by Urban Decay. I literally forgot I had this. So this is from a giveaway that I won a couple years ago. I have to bring this back out and play with it. So this is a Simpsons Revolution Bart palette. So this is the Treehouse of Horror situation that came out for Halloween. I think it was last year. And yeah, so this is really beautiful. I've actually raved about it so much on my channel. And these are actually available now at TJ Maxx and Marshalls, so keep an eye out if you wanted them. I have my collection of Revolution and the Batman collection palettes. The first one here is the Harley Quinn situation, which comes with more pastel tones. So beautiful. I actually did a whole video using this palette along with some new like irony makeup. So definitely check that video out if you want to see how this works. Next, the palette is more underrated in my collection. This is the Joker palette. I was kind of like, it's kind of all over the place. I'm kind of like not really inspired by this color story. And then the palette that I love is the actual Batman palette, which comes with more smoky tones in here. It's just so beautiful, and I was so obsessed when I first got this, so it's definitely one that I have to bring back out and play with. This is super reflective, but we're getting to the bottom of this drawer. This is from Romantic Beauty, and this is the My Love palette. And this is again a palette that I raved about so much because I love the shimmer formula in here, and also the matte formula is just so beautiful. And I think you could tell which is my favorite tone in here. It's just so stunning on the lid, especially with a finger application. So stunning. Unfortunately, I don't know if they're still making these, but such a good formula. And the last little baby palette in that drawer was this Ulta Beauty eyeshadow duo, which my mom actually gifted to me. I think she got it as like a gift with purchase or something, and it looks like that. This is definitely something I would declutter. I don't think I'll ever reach for this, but you know, it's in the collection, so I thought I'd mention it. And there's another drawer done. I'll move you guys a little bit over. So we have 3 of the Bambi and ColourPop collection palettes. The first one here is the Bambi palette, which comes with more everyday tones. You guys have seen these in action on my channel. I use these all the time. We have the Thumper palette, which comes with more cooler tones in here, which is so nice. Then we have the Flower palette, which comes with more purple tones in here, which I have to say is one of my favorite ones. This palette here is in Ballad, which so beautiful. I also did a I did a Instagram video using this palette, and you get really like smoky looks, but you can also keep it very neutral as well. So beautiful, and I love this packaging. Next we have the Amore palette. We have this one, which is called Cashmere Forever, which comes with more purple tones. And this is my least favorite in High Society. Not the greatest formula, but it's okay. And then we have this palette, which I actually haven't used on my channel. This is the Hello Kitty and ColourPop collection palette. And it's a mini pinky kind of palette. It's so cute. However, I haven't gotten a chance to use it, but those shimmer shades in here look stunning. First off, we have the Star Wars first ever like collection that they came out with, which was this adorable palette. I'm so happy I have this. Unfortunately, one of the shades did break, but there's a color story there. So adorable. I think this was like my first ever palette from them, and this is the Meant to Be palette, and this was like back when the pandemic started, which is crazy. So I've had this from like 2020. at the end of like 2019, around Christmas time. I ordered this, and it's so crazy how many years have passed now. But this is again the Meant to Be palette. Then we have the Tinkerbell Sprinkle a Little Magic palette, which I think was part of my birthday haul this last year, where I did a whole ColourPop haul video, and it consisted of a bunch of eyeshadow palettes. This was definitely one of them, and I really like the color story in here. I remember not really loving the quality of the shadows, but I thought the color story is amazing. This one, however, is actually a newer favorite. This is a Baroque palette from ColourPop, and I love the smoky tones in here, especially that middle shade and the top shade. Oh my god, this is such a nice palette. So let's just get this one out of the way. This is the Designer Collection ColourPop Midnight Masquerade palette. I think I won this in a giveaway a couple years ago, and this is so cute. However, I never really get inspired by this palette. Next, we have the Malibu Barbie palette, which I actually haven't used on my channel. I think I've attempted to use it off camera, and I don't know, I haven't really gotten around to it, but this is the Malibu Barbie palette. Next, we have the Sweet Talk palette, and this one was one that I wanted for so many years. Not one that I fell in love with the first time around, I don't know. So it's definitely one that we'll have to reach for again, so I can kind of remember my thoughts. Next, we have the What Dreams Are Made Of palette from Lizzie McGuire, from that collection that they came out with. This is actually really nice, and I think they did such a good job with this collection. And then we have the Powerpuff Girls ColourPop palette. I loved the Powerpuff Girls growing up, so I really had to have this palette, and such a cute color story. First off, we have the Beauty Creations Dare to Be Bright Bossy palette. So this is back when they came out with more neon palettes, so this is the more orangey version. I actually got this, I believe, in a mystery box from them. So this is a Beauty Creations Hot Fire eyeshadow palette. They do a lot of mystery boxes on their site, so if you ever want to try out something from Beauty Creations, I think that's like the best way to do it. But this palette is so stunning, and I remember I did a video comparing it to the Naked Heat palette from Urban Decay. This was the first time that I actually purchased something from a collaboration, and this was the Murillo Twins x Beauty Creation Britney palette. So the twins actually came out with this palette, as well as a more kind of everyday tone one. I actually went with a more colorful one, and now that I'm looking at it, I don't know, I feel like I was more excited about it when it first came out. Now looking at it, I'm kind of like but yeah, I remember the formula not being too great. I much prefer the palette that just came out with in a different collaboration than this one, but this one was cute when it came out. And then we have two more palettes. So this one here is actually from Be Bella, and this is one I think I also got from a mystery box from them, and this is the Oh Poppy palette. They have so many versions of these palettes on their website, and it looks like so. I actually haven't really used this one. We have a Beauty Creations palette, which again, I think this one came in a mystery box, and this is the Boho Babe palette. This one I remember being so excited about, and I actually haven't used it in such a long time. I remember I did a palette bingo with this palette, but I haven't touched it since then. As you can tell, I love Beauty Creations. Espresso Yourself, the Latte palette. I've actually raved about this palette. I was obsessed with it for a long time for work purposes, especially the shade here, the green shade. I love this brown shade all over the lid. It was perfect for like everyday kind of work looks. Next, we have the Beauty Creations Seduce Me palette. This was actually the first palette I did like a review on when I first started my channel. I actually swatched each shade, and I kind of compared and contrasted each shade as well. There was some like repeat shimmers in here, but this is actually a really nice palette overall, and I actually haven't used it in a long time either. So many of these palettes are going underrated in my collection, so I'll definitely have to bring this back out. Next, we have this palette. Do you guys remember when I was obsessed with this, and I literally mentioned in so many videos? This is a Beauty Creations Fortune Teller palette, and yeah, I don't know what happened. I kind of forgot about it. It went in the drawer, and that was that. But this is such a beautiful palette. I love the color story in here. I love the formula as well. Yeah, I literally was obsessed with it a couple months ago, so I'll have to bring this back out as well and play with it. This one, I don't really love the formula in here, but this is the Olivia palette from Beauty Creations. Yeah, it's just kind of boring. I don't know. We're getting into the other palettes that are in here. Literally, my palettes are kind of dirty. This is the Jaclyn Hill palette times Morphe, and you guys know what that looks like. So a lot of these like palettes are kind of very underrated, unless they were like marked with like Beauty Creations, but mostly I was reaching for like my ColourPop palettes for a long time. So I'm glad that we're doing this video. I have the Clean Color No Honey 2 palette, which is so colorful. I actually did a video using this palette, and I know a lot of people really loved it. Look at how colorful this is. This is actually one that I purchased from the 99-cent store. It was $2.99, and this is the Smoke and Mirrors Pearl palette. It comes with 18 colors in here. It's very bulky. The formula sucks, so it's not one that I really recommend, but you know, it was cute. It was the first time that I saw, again, a palette that looked pretty promising at the 99, so that's why I picked it up. I have this one. This is actually from Pro Luxe, and this was one that I found my local Q bargain. This is called their Talk to Me palette. I believe my boyfriend purchased this for me a while back. It's literally super old, but there's a look at the colors in here. Super colorful palette. And then we have the BH It's My Ray Ray palette. I literally forgot this existed, but I remember being obsessed with it. I also have a dupe to this palette as well, so it does come with some face shades in here, which some of them are a little too deep for me. And then we have the eyeshadow tones in here as well. This palette in this crate is from Romantic Beauty, and this is their, what is this? So this is their #1 palette, which actually is a dupe for the last one I just talked about from BH. Again, the face shades are very similar, and then we get the same eyeshadow tones in here as well. So there we go, another crate is empty. Let's just talk about these palettes here, which are actually not my favorites. I actually pulled them recently for a Shop My Stash all like Shop My makeup. This is a Color My World palette, and it looks like that. The formula in these are like okay. I kind of regret purchasing them, honestly. And then we have the Moonstone palette. These are still available on their website, so if you've been eyeing them, here's a closer look at this. And then we have the Self-Made palette, which I believe is the one that was pulled for that Shop My Stash. I didn't really touch it. Then we have this Muse palette. Yeah, but this is actually one of them that's actually a really good formula from Muse. Another Muse palette, one that I've actually raved about so many times, is this palette. It's very comparable to the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. So you can see they have very similar tones in here. I really like the color story in this palette. So this is one that I've mentioned so many times in some favorites videos. Two little palettes that are what are they called? What are you called? These are the ones that come with the magnetic eyeshadows in here. So they're magnetic palettes or whatever. So this is the color story in here. Now it doesn't come with the shadows that are in here, but I just curated them the way that I would use them. So this is a Love Child palette, because with more purpley tones. All right, so first off, they came out with these little pink palettes. I honestly do not remember what this collection was called. This one here is in Brandy. This one here is in Xenia, all mattes. Then we have Eden. And lastly from this collection, we have Vendela. Okay, these are part of their Orbit collection. This one here is in Neptune. Next we have Saturn. We have Mercury. And lastly from this collection, Mars. Next collection is from their Fairy Garden eyeshadow collection. This one here is in Orchid, Lily, Peony, and Willow. So they came out with this collection, which were actually newer to their line. So this is part of their Sunday afternoon collection. One of my favorites, this one here is in Depresso. This one here is in Midday Stroll. And this one here is in Movie Time. Unfortunately, the last one actually came broken, so I don't own it. But there is one more in this collection. Next we have their Flower Child collection. This one here is in Sun Print. This one here is in Bird Watching. This one here is in Indigo Child. This one here is in Herb Garden. Next we have these little palettes, which comes with 3 shades in them. Not really sure what collection these are from. We have the one in Peace and Love. This one here is in Patience. One of my favorites, this one here is in Mother Earth. This one here is in Fearless. We have 3 of the Muse palettes I was obsessed with. The first one here is in #1. So these palettes are still available. I love these Muse palettes. I raved about them so much on my channel. So it comes with 6 shades in here. We have this color story. The black did break, but I still love reaching for this. And then we have the more blue palette. So beautiful. 2 more Muse palettes. I actually have a lot of Muse palettes in here, but 2 of this collection. These are actually still available. I just mentioned them in a recent video. Not sure what that video was. I think it was like top 15 Shop My must-haves or something. But here's a more everyday one. And then we have the more smoky one. Another Muse palette, and it comes with eyeshadow shades in here, as well as some face shades. That's why it's called Glam on the Go, because it's like the perfect palette to travel with. We have these little baby Muse palettes as well. Here is the first one. So cute. I love this color story. And then we have the more pinky one. slash everyday one. I have this one. This one I'm not like too excited about, but this is one of their like all matte Amuse palettes. Another Amuse palette, we have their Metallic Eyes palette, which looks like that. And this one I believe is called, this one's called 24K Gold. Another Amuse palette, this is one of their smaller ones. This one here is in Sandstorm, and it came in a couple other color shades or like color stories. Next we have another Muse palette, and this is their Smoky Eyes palette. It comes with 3 shades in here. A Muse Precious Gems palette, which looks like that. Muse 12 color eyeshadow palette. I'm telling you, Muse has some really great products on Chamisse. There's a look at that, all mattes. We have another Muse palette. I've actually talked about these before. There's a look at that. It comes with eyeshadow shades and a highlight shade. One of my favorites that I've talked about on my channel a lot is this Amuse palette, and this one doesn't really have a name to it, like a specific name, but there's a look at the color story. Is so beautiful. I've again raved about this so much on my channel. We have the Just Color eyeshadow palette, which comes with more like colorful shades in here, mostly like shimmer tones as well. We have another Amuse palette, which is more everyday tones. And lastly, we have this Amuse palette, which comes with more green tones in here. And just like that, this crate is empty now. Okay guys, so let's just tackle the last one here. So let's just get into the small palettes in here. The first one here is actually one that's supposed to be attached to the Too Faced gingerbread situation. So I've had this for such a long time. I think it came out like, oh gosh, like before the pandemic, honestly, maybe 2018 or something. So this first little palette comes with some glitter tones in here and 2 matte shades. Next we have the actual eyeshadow palette, which is so nice. I've actually raved about the formula in here. It's actually a really nice formula, so definitely not one that I would ever get rid of. Next we have this one from She Glam, and this is a Gliss List palette. This is actually one that came out, I think it was last year for Christmas, and it's so pretty. And I actually did a video using this as well, and I think I got the collection. More She Glam palettes. I actually did a video using the Chromosome collection. It was like super hyped. So this first one here is in Time Wrap, which looks like that. It does come with some like dual chromes in here. And then we have this one, which is in Velocity, which looks like that. I honestly like the other one a little more, but this one's okay. I really like how unique the packaging is. We also have this one, which I actually haven't used, and this is a Pure Trolls World Tour palette, which looks like that. I actually found this at TJ Maxx or Marshalls. We also have this palette, which I've had for a couple years now. This is a Colorspell Shadow Go Round palette that I found in my local Family Dollar. It's such a good quality palette. I literally have to use this again because it was so amazing. Next we have one that was actually one of my favorites. This is a Maybelline Soda Pop palette. I was obsessed with this palette for a long time. I've hit pan in a couple of shades in here. It's just such a good palette. I love it. And for a while there, these were available at 99-cent store. So I don't know if they're still there, but if you see it, get your hands on it. Smells good and actually is good quality. Next we have another Amuse palette, which I think I may just throw this in with my Chamisse palettes. This is from, again, Amuse Cosmetics, and this is the She's All That palette. I actually got this from another website that's similar to Chamisse. I literally don't remember the name of it, but it looks like that. I think I'm just going to keep it with my Chamisse palettes. This is from Juvia's Place, and this is called the Queen Palette, Fumi and Juvia's. So it looks like that. I think I got this in a like Valentine's Day mystery box or something. I think I did a video using this palette, but I haven't touched it since then. I have 2 of the Pure and Barbie collection palettes. So this is the first ever round, I think, with Pure and Barbie, which looks like that. I love this color story. I love just everything about it. It smells so good. It comes with a glitter, so this is definitely not one that I would ever get rid of. I love the packaging. I've talked about it so much on my channel. Second round we actually found at TJ Maxx, I believe, and this is the Pure and Barbie round 2 palette, which actually came out for like a Christmas edition. I forgot about this palette. This one came out a couple years ago. I think it was like 2018 or something. This was part of like a Christmas set from Ulta Beauty, and this is a Beauty Babe palette. So it comes with some eyeshadows in here as well as some face shades. I literally forgot about this palette, but also another great one to travel with. These actually won in a giveaway, oh gosh, like years ago. So this is a Jennifer palette from YL Cosmetics. Not sure if they're still around, but these are actually really great quality, super pigmented. I really enjoyed the quality of these. And then we have the Carnival palette, which is more of a rainbow situation. Another 90s Babies palette. So this is their throwback palette. I actually showed you guys the Sanderson sisters situation earlier, and that's actually from the same brand. This is so cute, and it does come with more colorful tones in here. We have this palette, which is actually from Amazon. They have a couple of color stories in these palettes. So this is from Luxasa, and I loved this palette. I think I did a like birthday look 2 years ago or something using this palette. I'm wearing my crown, and it's just adorable. If you don't know, purple is my favorite color, so I definitely had to pick this up. It does come with a glitter, and I was super obsessed by the formula in this palette. It's actually really good, and I think it retails for like $10 or something, and it's like super compact and cute. Next we have the She Glam Rhapsody palette, and this one actually I was a little disappointed by. I think this was my first ever palette from She Glam, so I was kind of like, like it's not that great. It already looks like I've been using it for so long, but I've only used this like once or twice, so I was a little disappointed by this formula, honestly. I forgot I had this palette. This is the Transition palette by Pinky Rose. I don't know if this brand is still around. You'll have to let me know if you know that information down below, but it looks like this. Again, I love the color purple. I know I attempted to throw this in a project pan years ago when I first started my channel, but this is actually really cute. I don't think I would ever get rid of it, but a lot of the looks that I do with this palette tend to look the same at the end. And then I definitely have to bring back out and use again on my channel is the Age of Opulence Beauty Bay palette. I've actually never, this was like the first time I placed an order on Beauty Bay, and I'm so glad I did. This was a limited edition palette, and I'm so glad that I have it. It's so beautiful. You have no idea. The swatches are insane of this palette, so I have to bring it back out and do another look with it. But I think I did do a video using this palette. I think I did a purple or blue look, but I have to bring this back out and play with it again. This one here is so old. This is a She Makeup Concert palette. I literally have had this for years. Definitely a palette that I would declutter, but you know, now that I have it, I'm like but yeah, so cute, colorful. Not one that I would reach for anytime soon over my other ones, but yeah, I've had this one for such a long time. I think I got it at my local Cute Bargain. I purchased, I believe it was Walmart, and this is the Love Betsy by Betsy Johnson palette. Did I ever do a video using this palette? I literally don't think so. I've swatched it before, but the video actually never came to be. I purchased this, and I also purchased some like liners or something. Unfortunately, I never got to film with it, but super cute. If you like Betsy Johnson, she did have like a little makeup collection going, I believe Target or Walmart. Next we have the, what is this, Belle Jordan palette. I was obsessed with this palette for a long time. I'm glad we're doing this video again because I got to be reminded about it. So this is by Makeup Obsession, and this is the, again, Belle Jordan palette. I'm not obsessed with the packaging of it, but I really like the colors in here. These are stunning, and I'll have to reach for this again. I just talked about this in my Shop My Stash wrap up that just passed. I had this in for the month of May, and this was actually really nice. This is a Nickelodeon palette from Hot Topic. Again, none of my palettes are really organized, so I have to organize them right now, but yeah, this is stunning. I got so many compliments on the pinky looks that I did using this palette. I got a little dip going on this orange shade. It's just so beautiful. I definitely recommend if you guys see it. I don't think it's available anymore, but if you happen to see it at Hot Topic or whatever, it's amazing. This one's newer to my collection. This is a Simpsons Revolution palette. Super cute. Just came out as part of, was it Valentine's Day? I don't remember what collection this was from. It was like the Summer of Love collection or something. Super cute. I did a video using all of the products, or the products that I have from this collection that I was able to get my hands on. It was so cute, so definitely check that video out if you're interested. So we have this palette, which is the Essence Spice Up Your Life palette. Literally never gonna touch it, but this was a gift from my boyfriend, so I will keep it, but not one that I really reach for or like rave about. We have a Beauty Treats Nude Attitude palette. I kind of want to put this with my Shop Miss A makeup as well. It's very comparable to the Muse palette that we just talked about, right? They have like a very similar vibe, so I think I'm gonna keep it with my Muse palettes. Next we have the Color Story Mirage palette, and this was again another palette I was obsessed with. This is a palette you could get at Target, and it retails for like $10. It's like pretty old now, but so amazing. I remember I did like a blue look for my birthday because of my moonstone, my birthstone, which is sapphire, and such a beautiful color story. I love this palette. I really love the formula in here. Another She Glam palette. This is the the Hint of Mint palette, and this was actually one that I was really surprised by. I really like the formula in here, and again, I did a video using this. I have the C Color Prestige palette, which I actually got at, I believe it was Burlington, and this is supposed to be a dupe for the ABH Modern Renaissance palette. I completely forgot about this. This is the JCat Beauty, I think Dia and Noche palette, and this is just a pure like colorful palette. If I could go back, I would definitely not purchase this because I already have some rainbow palettes in my collection, but there's a look at that. If you're into JCat Beauty and you wanna pick a colorful palette up, this is a really good option. I always forget about this palette. This is actually a Dollar Tree palette. I think I'm gonna keep this with my Shawn Missy makeup as well. This is a Wet n Wild Nude Awakening palette. I literally forgot about this. So I did a full face of Dollar Tree makeup a long time ago. However, I always forget that this is from Dollar Tree. Last palette from my collection. Crazy. I literally feel like this video is so long. This is the Color Spell Solstice palette, and I got this at my local Family Dollar. I don't regret a thing. I remember loving this palette. It's such a beautiful color story, and I'll definitely have to reach for this as well soon. So there's the last, oh, there's one more palette in here, girl. What? So last palette officially is the Violet Voss Sweet Violet palette. I forgot about this. It's a fun size. I got this on sale. I think it was on Ulta or something. And how did I forget about this palette? This is the last palette we have to talk about. I wasn't too impressed by the formula, but I love purple shades, so I would never get rid of it. Well, never say never, but I'm not getting rid of it. But look at that color story, so beautiful. With that, look at all the palettes on my bed. I literally have to get to organizing. I'm gonna organize them and clean these bins out, and then I'll show you guys the end result.